When first am stuck, what first really do is hide. First tuck my ideas into drafts, wait for perfect timing, and shrink my work so it won't get noticed. It feels safe, but it stops results cold. In this video, you'll learn 3 simple moves to spot when you're hiding, pull yourself into view, and get real momentum without pretending to be perfect. No blame, just practical steps and a little humor so the process doesn't feel like a lecture. Stay with me, and you'll leave knowing exactly what to do next. Today, not someday. 1. The difference between a dead end and cover. A dead end is a route that simply stops. Cover is anything that hides or shields you while you stay mobile. In practical terms, a dead end is a street, corridor, or path that has no through way. A cul-de-sac, a fence, a sealed doorway. Cover can be a solid wall, a parked car, a concrete barrier, a cluster of trees, or even a dumpster. Things you can use to block sight or provide protection. One hides movement, the other stops movement. Simple as that. First, do not treat a dead end like a hiding place. Standing at the end of a blind alley is inviting problems because there's one way in and one way out. By contrast, first move from cover to cover. First use door frames to peek. First slip behind pillars to change my angle. First let vehicles break sight lines. In an urban example, a narrow alley that ends at a chain-link fence is a dead end. First can't go through it, and an approaching hazard can trap me. A nearby doorway or stairwell is cover. First can put the doorway between myself and danger, and then move to another position. When choosing shelter, first check whether it's concealment or true cover. A bush may hide me from view, but won't stop a heavy impact. A concrete wall can block both view and force. In a practical situation, that means first position myself behind solid object for safety and use foliage or shadows when first only need to stay unseen for a moment. For example, while hiking, first use boulders and trees for protection from wind or sudden exposure on a ridge. While crossing a street, first use parked cars as visual shields to reduce being easily spotted. If first find a route that ends abruptly, first backtrack or plan an alternative instead of getting cozy at the tip. Tactics are simple if first remember the core difference. Dead ends constrain movement. Cover enables controlled action. In team movement, one person covers while another moves to the next piece of cover. If the team marches into a dead end, retreat becomes the only safe choice. In a video game, hiding in a small room with one door is a classic trap, while hopping between crates gives options. First, learn to scan for exit routes first, then for usable cover. That small habit turns tight spaces from potential traps into manageable challenges. And yes, dead ends can feel like a rude surprise. First, prefer to give them a polite nod and walk the other way. 2. Why cover looks smart? Silence often reads as thoughtfulness, and that first impression matters more than people admit. First, hold back a rapid answer and first listen, and others often conclude first have a plan. In meetings, the person who asks the right question after everyone else has spoken tends to be remembered. A single well-placed question can make a room assume depth. Brevity gives weight. Covering up or staying hidden looks smart because it reduces visible mistakes. First, avoid blurting out half-formed ideas and instead test them quietly or run them by one colleague first. This keeps errors out of the spotlight and lets results speak later. In negotiations, for instance, first stay quiet to let the other side reveal priorities. They do most of the work for me. Short pauses are powerful. They make people fill the silence with their own thoughts, and those thoughts often confirm my position. People also read restraint as strategic thinking. When first share selectively, others assume first have more knowledge than first reveal. That perceived depth is useful. It commands respect without boasting. Showing competence through action rather than words helps too. If first deliver a clear memo instead of giving a long explanation in a meeting, people trust the outcome more than the chatter. Calm body language helps as well. Relaxed posture, steady voice, and concise phrasing create an impression of control. Practical moves make this effect repeatable. First, ask clarifying questions, summarize what others said, and then offer one concrete recommendation. First, frame uncertainty as curiosity rather than weakness. First, want to check one detail sounds smarter than frantic justification. In everyday examples, during a code review, first submit a focused fix instead of a wall of comments. In a client call, first promise to follow up with a short plan instead of improvising. Little choices like these hide the mess while highlighting competence, and that's why cover looks smart. 3. Intelligence as a mask. People often use displays of smarts to steer how others see them, and that can quietly turn cleverness into a costume. In a meeting, someone might correct small grammar mistakes, drop a technical term, or answer questions before they've been finished. All actions that look like confidence, but could be doing a different job, keeping others at arm's length. First, point out tiny errors in casual conversation to feel steady. First, throw in obscure facts to steer attention away from personal stuff. Think of it like wearing a suit of armor made of facts. It shines, but it also makes it hard to hug. When this habit shows up, it changes interactions in small, predictable ways. Colleagues stop offering ideas because they expect harsh critique. Dates shift into debate mode instead of sharing. Friends start avoiding deeper topics. First, explain complex things instead of asking how someone else feels. First, lead with rationale rather than admitting confusion. Signs to look for include frequent corrections, a tendency to one-up stories, and enjoying the sound of your own explanation more than the face across from you. These are not moral failings. They are practical moves that once helped and now protect too much. If the goal is more honest connection, simple steps help you swap the mask for something lighter. Pause before correcting someone. Count to 3 in your head, or say, "Tell me more," and let curiosity lead. First, stop myself from fixing every minor mistake, and instead ask a question about the idea. Try short scripts. In a meeting, replace "actually, that's wrong" with "that's interesting. How did you come to that?" In a relationship, swap a fact drop for "first, I'm not sure. What do you think?" This invites others in and gives you new information, not just a chance to shine. Smaller experiments add up fast. Start by choosing one space where you will practice vulnerability. One friend, one meeting, one family dinner. First, set a tiny rule. Ask at least one sincere question before giving an answer. First, let others finish without interjecting corrections. Expect awkwardness at first. That's normal and harmless. Over time, the payoff is real. Clearer teamwork, warmer friendships, and actual learning because you're listening more than lecturing. And yes, your brain will survive admitting uncertainty. Humor helps. Tell a self-deprecating quick line when you catch yourself showing off, and then ask a real question. It disarms people and frees you from having to perform. 4. How long does it last? How long hiding lasts depends on what triggers it and what happens next. Sometimes the retreat is tied to a single moment, a comment, a crowded room, a sudden demand, and the pull to disappear eases once the moment passes or the scene changes. Other times, the pattern becomes a default way of operating, showing up across work, relationships, and free time until something interrupts the pattern. First, hide in the small ways, and then keep doing it until first notice the pattern and choose differently. Situational hiding tends to be short-lived because it's linked to a clear cause, a tense meeting, a difficult question, a flash of shame. First, slip to the back of the room and stay quiet until the conversation shifts or first get a chance to breathe. Then first come back. Habitual hiding, by contrast, feeds on itself. Avoidance feels safe in the moment, and safety is addictive, so the habit gets reinforced unless interrupted by practice or help. It won't necessarily feel dramatic, but it can quietly shape weeks or months of behavior if left unaddressed. Several practical things shorten the length of hiding. Naming the feeling out loud or in a note anchors me. The fog loosens when first say, "First, I'm stepping back because first I'm overwhelmed." A tiny exposure works wonders. Answer one small question in a meeting, stay for 5 more minutes at a social event. Send a brief message to someone first trust, and the episode often dissolves faster. Reaching out to a friend or ally is simple and powerful. first text a single line and the isolation softens. Humor helps too. A light self-comment can break the cycle without denying the feeling. When hiding is tied to deeper issues like chronic anxiety, depression, or trauma, the timeline changes and professional support often shortens it in meaningful ways. Therapy and consistent practice teach skills that interrupt avoidance and help me re-enter life sooner and more often. Medications or medical care can also stabilize things for some people, giving them the bandwidth to practice new habits. In short, duration is not destiny. What first do? Tiny actions, steady practice, and the right support shifts how long hiding lasts. 5. The cost of constantly using cover. Constantly ducking behind cover uses up real resources, energy, attention, and the chance to be seen for what first actually do. My body stays keyed up when first am always watching for threats, which eats into my stamina and sleep. My mind spends time scanning exits and rehearsing responses instead of solving problems or being creative. This is not theoretical. When first keep my ideas to myself in meetings, colleagues remember the people who spoke, not me. First do lose small moments that add up. If first avoid raising my hand, first miss a chance to influence a decision. If first decline a short presentation, first don't get the visibility that leads to new projects. Simple choices create a pattern. One skipped conversation turns into several. And then first notice opportunities evaporating like steam from a coffee cup. There are physical payoffs to staying hidden, but also clear costs. First do hold my breath a little and hunch my shoulders, which leads to tension and headaches. My posture stiffens and first feel tired sooner. Socially, others interpret my avoidance in ways first don't intend. They might think first am disinterested or aloof. That misunderstanding narrows friendships and professional alliances because people prefer predictable partners, and my habit of staying out of sight looks unpredictable. Over time, the habit compounds. First to avoid public speaking, and then my comfort with it shrinks, so the next time the idea of stepping forward feels bigger. Skills that need practice get rusty. Confidence is a muscle. Avoidance lets it atrophy. The longer first stay in cover, the harder it is to switch back into open mode. And missed chances begin to shape the kind of life first lead, rather than just a few missed moments. A little humor helps. My invisible cloak is stylish, but it doesn't pay the bills or get me invited to the interesting tables. So, you're not stuck, you're hiding. You retreat not because you've failed, but because hiding is safer. You freeze when the choices seem overwhelming, and you wait for the perfect light that never appears. The solution isn't radical. Small steps reveal you. One message, 5 minutes of practice, one small limitation. Change the environment, change the question, change the time. Test, don't judge. Track small victories like a detective collecting clues. First, understand we all do this sometimes. It's not a flaw. It's a behavior pattern we can learn from. Don't blame yourself. Notice what you're doing. Adjust one habit and celebrate the small discoveries. Think of one small step as opening a curtain. The room doesn't explode, it simply becomes visible. If you enjoyed this, please give a like, leave a short comment about one small step you'll try, and subscribe so you don't miss the next mini masterclass. Try something small today and see what happens once you get the hang of it.